Hey, what's up, YouTube and Facebook family? I want to share a quick, encouraging word with you today, okay? One day I was in the place of prayer and I heard this phrase, plain and simple: glean from everyone, duplicate no one. That was it. Glean from everyone, duplicate no one. I'm telling you, you can learn something from every single person that you come in contact with. Yeah, there's been times in my life when I've had the extreme honor to have dinner with Apostle Dutch Sheets. Man, I gleaned so much from him. There was, I remember a night that I was able to share a meal with Apostle John Eckhart. Man, that was life transforming, and those were great. But also there was times that we were doing a homeless outreach and I sat around some people who were homeless. They were down on their luck. And I want you to know that I received from them as well. I remember I was talking to a gentleman who was about 65, and I was talking to him and he looked at me and said, "Hey man, I used to be on TV." I said, "Really?" And I thought he meant like on the news or something. He said, "Yeah, I was actually a news anchor right here in town for over 10 years. I was like, "Well, man, that sounds like a really successful job." He said, "Oh, it was. And I made a lot of money." I'm looking at him like, how in the world are you a news anchor with a successful career? Been doing it 10 years. That's pretty successful. Now he's homeless. He said, "Man, I made one small bad choice that led to one big wrong choice, and I haven't recuperated." And I said, "What? You haven't recovered from that?" He goes, "No." There's been times in my life when I would talk to a husband who lost his amazing family, and we were sitting around and he said, "Man, I messed up one time on something. It may have been an affair, drugs, alcohol, gambling. Just one time, led him down the wrong road." You learn from everybody. I'll tell you something that I tell every single person that is in our Roar Apostolic Network, and also everybody who is in our coaching community, our health coaching community. Every time you call me, ask me at least one question. Whenever I call my mentors in my life, I always ask them a question. So when I call, I say, "Hey, I just got a few questions." And it may be something about me. It may be something about America. It may be something about the apostolic prophetic movement. It's just whatever question I have, I ask them. Why? Because every time you're around somebody, you can glean from them. I was hanging out with my son the other day, and he's 9, and he just said something that just grabbed me. He said, "Man, I don't know why people don't believe the Bible." I said, "Me neither, son." What do you mean by that?" He goes, "When I read the Bible and Jesus laid hands on people, they were healed." I said, "Yeah, we're Christians. We're Christ-like. Whenever we pray for somebody, they should expect, and we should expect, that they're healed." I'm like, "Yeah, come on, son. That's what I'm talking about." You can glean from everybody. I was around somebody recently, and they were talking about their life, and they'd been married for 20 years. And I said, "Hey, where y'all going on y'all's 20th anniversary?" Looked at me. We're not going anywhere." I said, "What do you mean you're not going anywhere?" "Sure, 20th anniversary, man, that's to celebrate." They're like, "Well, we've never gone on a trip together since our honeymoon. We just can't afford it." I learned some stuff real quick that day. My wife and I, we try to have 4 or 5 mini vacations a year, just her and I. You gotta do that stuff in marriage. You learn something from everybody. There's different times that I've been around my daughter's friends, and they were talking about different things, and you would just listen to them, and you'll learn a lot if you listen, and you'll listen, and you'll know who has a father in the house and who doesn't. You will listen and you will learn whose parents teach them biblical values, that they have character, they understand morality. Then you'll see somebody who really doesn't. You will see that the kids, what they've learned in the house. When you're around somebody, you just learn all the time. And so it's something that I've always understood, that every single person that I meet, it could be when I go to Starbucks, somebody handing me my coffee. It could be at a restaurant, the waiter or the waitress. You can learn something. We were at a restaurant the other day, and this young guy, he's a waiter. He was a real cool dude. He came up and was talking, and I said, "Hey man, I see you in here a lot working, man, getting those shifts in." He goes, "Man, I work as many as I can." I said, "Well, that's great, man. Well, why are you working so much?" He said, "I'm trying to put myself to college." I said, "Okay." I said, "I remember when I was your age, man, I used to, do what I needed to do and had to do." And so we were just talking to him, man, and it brought a hunger inside of me to have a goal and go for it, man. This young guy was a great waiter, and I'll just say he liked his tip. And so he came back and said, Did you mess up and give me this?" I said, "No, I didn't mess up." He said, "You want some change?" I said, "No, I don't want any change." I said, "I want to bless you, man. You were a young man working hard." And I said, "I admire that in you." And so what you got to understand is we learn something from everybody. You can talk to a homeless crackhead and learn from them. In my life, I've had the honor to be around some great men and women of God. I worked for some, and then I've spoke at conferences, conventions with a lot of great people in America. And whenever I get around them, I always say, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" And they're like, "Yeah." And so I ask questions because I want to know, what did you do to get here? And this is real important, what did you not do to get here? And how do you plan to stay here? I remember there's times I talked to some of the leading prophets and apostles in America, and I asked them a question, and most every one of them say this: "I've always had a strong prayer life. I fast on a regular basis, and I keep it consistent." I remember, I got to tell you this funny story. John Kilpatrick Sr. came in to preach for us in the church I was at about 12 years ago, and I just called him, asked him to come speak. He said he would, so he came. I was honored that he came. And so he was at his hotel, and I went to pick him up. Now, the hotel to the church was about 5 minutes away. I drove him all around Texarkana for 30 minutes asking him questions. When he got in the car, he was talking to his wife on the phone, and he said, you can go now. I said, "No, sir, I'm going to wait till you get off the phone." He talked about a minute and got off. And so I drove around for 30 minutes asking him questions because I wanted to glean. Now, I never tried to duplicate him, but I gleaned from him. Then the next night, another pastor came and picked him up, and he said from the pulpit, he said, "I noticed it was a lot shorter trip when this other guy picked me up than when Joe Joe, because he drove all over." But he told me he respected that. Listen, I listen to videos, YouTube videos, podcasts all the time, and I glean from a lot of different people, from a lot of different walks from life. And I listen to a lot of apostles, prophets, pastors. Also, I go into the business realm, motivational speakers, people who are great in different trades and crafts and different things, and to sharpen my mind. But I never try to be anybody else. I never try to do what other people do. I'm me, and I want to be the best version of me. If you have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, I want to gain that. But the thing is, I don't want to be you. I want to be me. The problem with a lot of people in this day and age is they don't know who they are. They have an identity crisis. First of all, they may not have an intimate relationship with God. And when you don't have the intimate relationship with God and you haven't identified your gifts, talents, and abilities, you're going to try to imitate other people. My wife says this all the time, that when people don't know God, they imitate who they like the most. I remember one time there was this young minister I tried to disciple, keyword, tried to disciple. I can tell you what messages he listened to that week and what preacher he listened to, because he was trying to act just like him. And I said, "Look, man, you're cool, bro. People like you. Just be you. Listen to that stuff. Glean what they say, but don't try to preach like them. Don't try to dress like them. Be you." And so I want to encourage you with that today. Glean from everyone, but never try to duplicate anyone. Be you. What the world needs is what you have to offer. Be the best version of you.